Separation Scheme or VSS issue is not only affecting employees but also the trade unions such as the National Union of Journalists or NUJ. NUJ was formed on August 30th, 1962. According to its official website, NUJ is the only organization of working journalists in Malaysia representing the industrial, social and welfare interests of over 1,400 journalists. NUJ Malaysia is the sole authority to negotiate and determine the proper remuneration rates and help set other terms of employment for journalists in publishing houses that produce Bahasa Melayu, English and Chinese newspapers and periodicals.
Many media companies cannot overcome the difficulty of financial, and then even some of the companies also facing this huge loss. So that's why this is one of the methods which can settle the problems. And like for example, the media company A, so currently they have offered VSS to the employees is out. I was noticed that if for NUJ members alone, they have 700 members have been accepted out of 1,500. In terms of the prospect of NUJ, for the union, of course we are not going to see, we are not willing to see this kind of thing happens, because it will reduce our membership. Because since like the media company A now they often have the VSS, since 600-700 have been already accepted, that means we the trade union also losing 700 members at the same time.
Recently, the National Union of Journalists, NUJ, pointed out that the VSS offered to the employees of media companies were improper, unfair and lacked sincerity. It was perceived to be a dishonest and suspicious move by some of these companies. My Labour Law found that quite a number of employees do not know or understand their rights with regards to retrenchment in general and the Voluntary Separation Scheme, VSS, or Mutual Separation Scheme, MSS, in particular. We speak to a former employee of a media company about her experience with VSS.
I have been working for this company for some time. This is something I least expected. I was not the only one to be offered VSS, but many of my colleagues too. I was very shocked but didn't know how to react. I consulted the HR and they briefed me on the process of VSS and the package they offered. I was certainly unsure on whether to accept it or not. To be honest, this is truly unfair. The settlement I looked for was barely enough for me to sustain my life. They even threatened to terminate me if I'm not willing to accept the offer. It is definitely not easy. For my age, it is so difficult to look for another job. I have so many commitments to pay for. Therefore, it is definitely a burden to me. I was truly uncertain on how to go about this process. One of my colleagues suggested that reporting this issue to MOHRM could resolve this issue. I would say that this is a very serious issue that is going on in our country. More awareness should be created to overcome this issue. Government body and experts in the industry should enlighten the public with steps to be taken to solve this issue amicably.
Legal action can be taken against any company should it fail to pay the Voluntary Separation Scheme or VSS to their employees within 7 days as stipulated in the Employment Termination and Layoff Benefits Regulations 1980.
We have made a report to the Ministry of Human Resources, and then the Ministry have called us for 2 times. And then they also, as we know, they also called the company 1 time just to find out the reason why the company had to do so. Then what are the problem of this VS behind actually. So but then to us, we noticed that the company has already explained the ministry, saying that because they're not running the business well, and then they have no choice and have to offer this VSS to the employees. They could not help much also because they only can playing a role as a middleman just to coordinate for the move party.
Notice of Termination 2004 PK form has been gazetted as PUB 430/2004 on 11 November 2004, and to any employee employer who fails to comply with this article shall be guilty of an offence under Section 63 of the Employment Act 1955, and if convicted, to be liable to a fine of not more than 10,000 ringgit Malaysia upon conviction. The Ministry of Human Resources Malaysia has published the guidelines on retrenchment management for employers and employees. These guidelines are prepared to provide information and to lay out the basic principles as well as guidance on retrenchment practices to companies and its workers. These guidelines contain measures that should be taken by employers, the responsibilities of employers, as well as the rights of retrenched workers. According to a 2004 research done by T. Ramaya, Muhammad Jantan and Chandra Mohan Krishnan to evaluate the success of the VSS, employers have to understand their workers' perspective on VSS and whether their decision met their employees' needs. T. Ramaya, Muhammad Jantan and Chandra Mohan Krishnan added that factors contributing to the success or failure of the VSS retrenchment strategy depended on the knowledge of VSS among the workers, the expectation of the VSS, the traumatic experience from what is felt to be an unplanned retirement, the ability to maintain current and anticipated lifestyles, the fulfillment of their entrepreneurial dreams, and the emotional preparation for an employee to leave a secure job.